Think you know what way it's going to go?
Make your bet at Sports Interaction.
Whether it's World Cup, hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered.
Bet pregame, live and play, or one of our many prop bets.
Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out.
Join now and see all sports betting has to offer.
Wanna bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN.
That's sportinteraction.com/SDPN.
19 plus, please play responsibly.
She scores!
Take a moment to look up at the ceiling. You're about to bust through it.
SDPN, the PWHPA and Sports Interaction
Wanna bet?
presents hockey like you've never heard it before. The Knoxy and Kax Show with Liz Knox and Karell Emard.
Let's get it. Go.
Welcome back to Knoxy Kax on SDPN in partnership with the PWHPA. We're coming in hot off All-Star Weekend in Ottawa, and we're going to get to all those highlights in just a moment. But first, we have so many tour stop updates.
It's exciting.
You're going to want a pen and paper for this one. Let's start with the Scotiabank Showcase, put on in Owen Sound and Collingwood, which is here in Ontario, January 21st and 22nd. Tickets are going fast, so you want to get those at pwhpa.com. Kax?
Then we have the beautiful OHL showcase that was just announced this week. So we're going to a couple of different cities here. So hosted by the Barrie Colts, the Kitchener Rangers, Niagara Ice Dogs, and Peterborough Petes. So we're going back to Peterborough. Had a blast last year, so really happy that the PW is going back there. They were a great association, and then I'm excited for all the other regions that we're going to, or cities, sorry. I think we have a couple players that are from those town as well too, so it'll be exciting. So those are from February 10 to 11, and then tickets are up right now, so you've got some time, but you do not want to miss the action, so you can actually go on our website and get the information there as well too.
And so Jessie Eldridge, good Barrie gal. So expect a lot of fans for her out there. Niagara, we've got to have players from Niagara region.
Mel DeRochers and a bunch of the girls from like Welland and Hamilton area, or those area, are like near that stuff.
Yeah,
so
not far.
Yeah, and then I believe I think Vasco is near.
Yes, Vasco is
near there as well too. St. Catharines, exactly. Yeah. So I think her entire family will be there. So shout out to her and the fam. And then the Petes, we had a blast last season. Like I said, the arena was packed, hoping to do that as well too. And then the Kitchener Rangers. I don't know if anyone's from Kitchener.
No,
from
but
the PW.
Laurier is in Waterloo, which is like pretty much the same place, but don't tell them that.
And I was going to say, I went to school, St. Lawrence, with Mike McKenzie, son of Bob, and he is the GM for the Rangers as well too, and believes in women's hockey a big time. So Mike will be in town. Thank you for hosting this whole thing too. So a little bit of a SLU connection here.
Love that.
Of it.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Yeah, I'm super stoked to be going to those OHL cities. And you spoke about going back to Peterborough. We are going back to Washington. Woo!
I can't wait. This is going to be a fun one too.
The Capitals organization, fantastic hosts. Super pumped to see them. And little teaser, sounds like there might be some special events happening that weekend. So you're not going to want to miss that. That's not until March 2nd and 3rd. Tickets will go on sale December 20th. So maybe a last minute Christmas present, or Valentine's Day, New Year's Day, a Wednesday. I don't care. Get your tickets. Washington, D.C., March 2nd and 3rd. So let's get to the Canadian Tire All-Star Weekend recap. And we want to start off with the interview. Well, first of all, the puck drop. Yeah. Billie Jean King and Alana Kloss, present in Ottawa. I heard about this, I think, the day before we kind of started to announce that there was going to be a special guest. So really, really cool that they took time out of their schedule to drop in to the All-Star Weekend. And they both sat down with Tessa Bonhomme on TSN or RDS. Does RDS get that stream as well?
They did. I don't know if they presented the interview itself and then translated it though, but that was something that unfortunately, maybe if it wasn't present in the French land, it was like an amazing interview. I loved it. And I was just going to add, like, every time that Billie Jean King and Ilana are in the building, it's just so, it gives you that hope back if you ever lost it a little, or it gives you that like fire that you, or fuel that you need and stuff. And I had actually friends and family members that were there, and we're just so impressed by, they're in this building, they're taking pictures with our fans. They're an amazing icon, and then the stuff that they're doing with us is just so amazing. And sometimes I take it for granted, but having them in there, was like, again, just a boost of energy and a boost of, this is why we're doing it. And this is why they're behind it with us. So it was amazing to have them there.
Very infectious kind of enthusiasm behind both of them. And we're going to get to their interview a little bit. Obviously, we're not going to roll the clip or anything, but I pulled some of the things that were said in that interview with Tessa. And I think we'll just go in sequence of how kind of they came out in the interview. But the first one is a quote from Ilana Kloss says, "History helps us shape the future." And I think that's something that at the PWHPA, we've, never lost sight of, is making sure that we weren't repeating mistakes of the past. And that's why, this whole process has taken us the time that it has, and patience has been such a virtue to us. But we've just been really careful not to, kind of repeat those mistakes.
And at the end of the day, like, whatever other leagues has done in the past and whatever we could learn from it. And like you said, like, it's working and making sure the CBA makes sense to all players. It's making sure that we have the right humans involved and the right values and stuff. And that quote itself, like, shaped the future. And I think it was said 100 times in that interview that the girls that are working towards it in the PW are aware that they're not going to benefit out of this. And we are doing this to shape what women's hockey, or the professional women's hockey, should look like in the near future. And, we're having a say in it. And I think that's pretty big in terms of, here's the standard moving forward, right? Here's what needs to be hit at all categories, and then just keep on pushing it. So that was a big line. I mean, I got goosebumps the whole time, but we'll keep going.
Every time they talk. And that actually segues perfectly into Billie Jean's next quote: "To have professional women's hockey make it, we have to have the top players." And that's what we have this weekend. They've stuck together. They know deep down that what they're doing now is teeing it up for the next generation, to your point, Kax. And then I believe she goes on to say, Tessa had asked her, what's the key to success, or what continues to motivate you, or motivate her when she was doing, the original, Women's Tennis Association. How do you keep persevering? And her answer was patience, and don't take things personally. Yeah. Forgiveness is really important. If you have to change your game plan, I kind of add that in, then change it. Champions adjust. And I think that's really cool. I think especially the don't take things personally part really spoke to me, because, you're trying to build this future. You're trying to succeed all the way along. You hit speed bumps, or you hit roadblocks, you hit walls of either people or associations or whatever, saying it's not going to work, or you can't do this, or whatever it may be. Sometimes it's your own inner dialogue that's saying, what the hell am I doing? But, the patience is the key, and just the willingness to adapt and overcome when situations change. I mean, we all know these things. We can read them in every, Hallmark book, whatever. Yeah. But when the great Billie Jean King says it, it's just something that lights that fire again.
It does. And it puts you at ease with things too, in a sense, right? So like patience hit home for me, and also like forgiveness is important, and all that stuff. Like, it's patience in it's okay. Don't rush into things, or don't try to take like the shortest route, or even like the easiest road, or whatever it is. Like, it's okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to turn out to be like something that will happen. And sometimes like you have the closest people or people in your life, and they don't see it, or they don't believe in it, or they don't necessarily want to tag along on that journey or whatever. And then at the end of the day, it's not about them. It's about what you think. It's about what you believe. And it's about also where you want things to go. And, I think that the patient part was just okay, yeah, it's true. We've been patient. And sometimes I get impatient here and there. And I'm like, oh, I want it now, you know? And why can't we announce something? Like, where are we at with and it's just, it's just like, it's okay. Things are working itself. Things are coming together the way it should be coming. And again, you know, change and adapt and make sure that it's at the end of the day for what you've been pushing for and not just, we're going this way and it's not necessarily exactly where we want it to go. No, actually, let's keep moving. Yeah. Let's keep moving and not accept things. So that resonated with me big time.
And Alana closed out with, for me, it's great to see these sponsors participating. She names them. It doesn't happen without them. This is the part where I get the goosies again. The men get it all the time. The investment, the emotional support, and time to succeed. And she goes on to say, you know, how great it is that the PWHPA has had fantastic partnerships, fantastic sponsors, great hosts on our Secret Dream Gap tour. And this is it, right? This is the point, is that giving ourselves the time, the investment, the emotional support to navigate that journey that we don't quite know yet and allow the time to succeed. I think that was a really cool point. And we're doing
that too. I never thought of that in the sense of like, it's true that the men do get the investment and the emotional support. We get the, it's not going to happen support. You know what I mean? Or are you crazy? Like we get the, you know what? I'll prove you wrong type of like attitude instead of like
love sometimes.
Hey, go, it's going to be okay. You know, like I wish someone would be, oh my God. You know what? PWHPA or PHF or whatever women's hockey league, you're going to do it. And we're going to be behind you 110%. No, go back to your stove in your kitchen is what I get for my natural habitat, you know, type of quotes. And and I think you were going there with it. And you can go ahead. That was the funniest tweet, by the way. I have to give you some props on it.
So if you missed it.
Have you ever said to a man, go back to your farmland and cultivate your
shop.
Like, no, like go back to your mechanics and fix your car. No, he has all the chance in the world. Train hard, fix yourself. Mentally, you need to be prepared. So make sure you have this like support system behind you and everything. Oh,
that's so funny. If you missed
go back to, go for it.
I was not in Ottawa this weekend. I had work conflicts and, so I had taken a picture of Kax in the box, taking a penalty, and tweeted something like Kax in her natural habitat. I did a little David Attenborough, you know, soliloquy after that. I thought it was pretty funny. I think of myself pretty funny often more times than the people around me. But and then this guy, and I don't want to give him any more airtime because this is like, I've convinced myself that it's either a personality type where it's like they just crave any attention, no matter if it's negative, or it's like a bot that's just like programmed to find things to be mad about. And I think it's kind of one and the same. Like these people lack, you know, emotional intelligence and they just want to be angry, mean people. Like that's part of the internet. Yeah. But to say that I put the tweet out, it was lighthearted, it was fun, it was women's hockey, and then like, Joe Blow, whatever, comes in as like her natural habitat's behind the stove. And I was like, behind the stove? Like, but you cook in front of the stove. Like, is she fixing a gas line?
Yeah. I'm just dying. I'm like, oh, maybe he's French. Maybe it's backwards. I'm not sure what it is. You want to try it in French? Like, you just made a comment.
It was so like good.
And everyone was good with the joke. Like it was coming back and forth. By the way, it was my first penalty. So that's why.
Yes.
Liz Knox made it seem like it was a big deal. I went on a streak without a penalty for about 6 games and then
which is a really big deal for Kax if you've watched his career.
And I will say that I play better if I get a penalty. So I have to maybe not believe in that fully, but
it's just like you're playing aggressive hockey.
There you go. But not like mean aggressive.
No.
Yeah. That one was tough. As soon as Johnson tripped, like I was turning, she tripped over my skates and stuff. And I tried moving it away. And as soon as it happened, I was like, I'm going in. Like I just completely, I was like, oh yeah, that looked bad. That looked really bad, even if I didn't mean to do this. So approach. She's fast, and she crossed over my legs. I'm like, whoa. Well,
Yeah.
it happened.
It's like tripping over a curb. Like, it happens.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't mean to be there in her way. And boom,
That's Kax saying she's sorry, Johnny.
I said it right away. I'm like, ooh, my bad. And I just went, like, I didn't even stop, or I curled right into the box. I was this is where I need to go.
You come by it honestly, and that's why we love you. So just to recap the weekend quickly, and now I know, Kax, you have some kind of game recaps. We can go over those quickly. Starting on the Friday. So these were our regular tour stop games. We had Team Adidas Scotiabank. Adidas came away with that one 2-1. But as Kax will tell you, the stats tell a different story.
Team Adidas, yeah. So it seemed like when we look at the game summary, actually, seems like Scotiabank was dominating in a lot of areas. So we have with SportLogic a report that we give to coaches and everything. And honestly, Scotiabank created more chances. They had forecheck chances, rebound chances, all angles. They were kind of like dominating added Adidas on that game. And it just seems like Rooney had a really good game. She was challenged a little bit more. And then, she actually, how we have like expected goals and then goals saves above expected. So, her numbers were, she saved basically 2.2, goals versus like 76 on the other side. So Michaela had a great game too. It just seemed like, there's a little bit more action, against Rooney, and then she played well. So shout out to the goalie on that one. That's Kausha. You may, in the expected goals value and stats, you deserve the win on that one. So we'll give it to you guys like that.
To that point, the Adidas goalies, not to jump too far ahead, we'll get back to the other Friday game, but Erin Frankel also stood on her head on Saturday's game against Sonnet. They came away with that win 4-0. Frankel earning her first PWHPA shutout and getting Gatorade's Athlete of the Week. So
I saw that. So shout out to her as well too. There,
and we've talked about her on the show before. Like had a tough start in Montreal. She's settling right in now. She's putting up the zeros. Adidas goalies are climbing their way back through the charts and helping their team get a couple W's on the way. So stoked for both those two goalies. The Team Adidas win on Friday and Saturday. They're on a heater now. So let's go back to Friday's game, Team Sonnet versus Team Harvey's, which Kax was in.
Big game.
This was a nail biter, man. Like, you guys.
Let's talk about a team that deserved to win versus a team that got opportunistic at the end.
Poor
there.
Sonnet, man. I Sonnet
feel for
is
them.
quickly becoming my favorite team because I feel like I spent most of my like junior career and CWHL career on a team just like Sonnet, where you just you're right there, and then it just seems to slip away.
Yeah, I will say that when I look at the stats, and I did say, maybe Harvey's didn't deserve it. Harvey's didn't deserve the first. I will put it that way. And this is not me, Karell and Mard, playing for Harvey's. I will tell you, we absolutely sucked in the first, and the first as well too, as in terms of player. But when we look at the stats, seems like we picked it up in the second. And Nicole Hensley had a fantastic game the whole time, crushing it. And then something happened with 3 or 4 minutes left in the third, where people woke up, and I mean, it was was it 2-0? I can't remember when the goal happened. Yeah, it was 2-0. And then
were you guys 6-on-5 on your first goal?
Yeah.
So two 6-on-5 goals.
Were we? You know what? I'm going to confirm that, but I think we were. We just had, we were. Yeah, we were, because we, tried to face off and everything. And honestly, like, Nicole was like playing out of her mind. So she faced, just so we look at the stats here quickly, 2.78. So she actually leading up to that, she was like probably going to steal the game. You know what I mean? Like, we allowed we gave that kind of stats to goalies in the NHL, and she was on her way to do that. And then sadly the goal happened, with, I believe, a minute left or maybe a little less. And then Jessie Eldridge, again, picture this. Picture this. She's a righty. And I do know that Team Canada does practice this, right? The shot off literally behind the goal line, trying to hit the goalie, and goes in. And she whacked at it once, and then whacked like slap shot, clapper thingy. And it just literally hit Nicole Hensley in the mask and then goes in, and she knew right away. As soon as it hit her, you saw her head going like, fuck, really? To tie it up 2-2. And there's 0.7 seconds left, I think, or something like that. Or 1.6, something crazy.
Crazy tight at the end.
I don't even know. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was
going to say before you go, because we were on the bench and the freaking bench went crazy. Like, it was back to like, this is the team I played with for 4 years type of level. People were jumping on each other, like, wow, like screaming. I'm like, my God, I haven't been this happy in like a few years for a goal. Like, I'm like, this is back. Like, hockey is back finally. Like, feeling the team atmosphere.
I love it. Well, a good come from behind victory will do that to a team, right? Like, keep you guys going. And
I mean, the tie was crazy.
I talked to Erin Ambrose at our U of T practice, and she was just same thing. Like, she's just like, come on, man. Like, they played a great game, had the lead for, virtually 60. It was like 57 minutes they had the lead for.
Exactly. Yeah.
And she said she talked to Hensley after the goal, and, as every competitive goalie does, she's just like, what was I doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, man, like, there is no way that you're predicting that shot from there that point in the game. Like, I mean, that's just the way she goes.
Hensley was perfect that game. Like, it was fine. Like, she was like, and again, like, she faced like inner slot shots, like more than we faced on our side or she received on our side. And then same thing, like slot passes were going left and right. Like, it was just like, she was moving. Like, little toe cap, I call them, saves that she makes all the time. Like, she had a couple of those too. And, like, Nicole played amazing. And then again, she, if we didn't score at the end there, she probably would have had like a 3-point or 2-point something goal saved.
Yeah.
And then we finished it up. For you guys that didn't know, we won in shootout, I guess.
Humble brag. No, you're right. Harvey's coming with the 3-2 win. So Sonnet does earn 1 point in that game because they went into extra time. Harvey's takes 2 points. Correct?
You got it. Yeah, 2 or 3
points per game.
3 points. Yeah.
And then
I think we get it all.
So keeping the standings pretty much where they were going into the weekend in terms of rank. Of course, we won't skim over Saturday's game. Adidas took Sonnet 4-0, as I mentioned. Aaron Frankel with the shutout. And then Harvey's taking Scotiabank 3-1. To lead the standings, Harvey's still in first, Adidas in second, Scotiabank, Sonnet. Only 1 point between Scotiabank and Sonnet, so that's a good little tilt there. And Adidas is kind of creeping up on Harvey's. I'm not going to lie. Now, there's 5 points between, but that's 2 wins, right? So it's still anyone's game. And the nice thing about having the 4 teams is that, I mean, nobody wants to be playing number 1 if you finish 4, but anything can happen.
I overheard from a few players and, actually Vasco and other players from Sonnet, but they're like, you know what? Doesn't matter. Everyone's making the playoff. And when it matters, that's when we need to show up. And I was like, that's a good point, but still, like, yeah, it's true. So we need to not, I guess, underperform when it comes to the end showcase, I guess.
Can't take your foot off the gas. And
got it.
We're going to talk a little bit then about the skills competition and All-Star game, which happened on Sunday. It was a 3-on-3 style tournament that was aired on our TSN RDS broadcast and ESPN Plus in the States. But before that, it was pre-recorded, the skills competition. Yeah. And before we get into that, Sport Logic did some cool things Kax was saying about kind of a lot of the players that we saw in the All-Star game. So why don't you go through some of those top players, their strengths, and maybe an NHL comparison.
Yeah. So basically, what we did, and we got a couple requests from TSN and everything, and providing some stats and some points for them to, play with or give some visibility to players. And what's cool is that we actually took some time just to look at the stats from this season only. So both for the PW and players and the NHL players, and just give a couple comparisons. So strengths based on their games right now, and this season again. And then same thing, who do they look like and what players do we compare to? So, just a fun little game, but it's important to provide that kind of information for broadcasters too, so that people can, everyone knows the NHL players, minus maybe some people that don't watch as much the men's game as other. I don't pay attention, but it's good to just give a little bit of okay, yes, that makes sense. Like I can see the games being compared, or comparable, or even like, oh, I didn't see it that way. And it opens up a couple people's eyes. But we were just talking about, Jesse Eldridge, and we made a couple, I guess, strengths and came up with the numbers that she's been putting and the stats that she's been putting this year. And her strengths are based on the stats solely, not me watching the game, but it's creating chances off the forecheck in the cycle, getting slot shots. And her comparables are Evgeny Malkin or Brady Tkachuk. And I couldn't agree more with that. This is just based on numbers, right? So, and then again, I'll name a couple from each team, but Sunnet here, we have Brianne Jenner. And then again, strength, getting cycle chances, slot passings, and getting to rebounds is a big part of her game. And she is compared to Mark Scheifele and Jack Eichel, actually. Which I can see. Yeah, I can see.
I can see the Scheifele, actually.
Scheifele more than Eichel for me. And I think he's a cooler players too, but that's just me. Here I got one for Scotiabank. Megan Keller, so number 5, she plays on Team USA as well too. So plays key minutes in all situations, and then slot passings is a big strengths of hers. And then she's compared to Erik Karlsson and Roman Josi, from the Preds. Yeah, I can see that. She likes to control the puck, likes to have it in the back, and giving a little bit more shout out to the US players as well too. So last one, we all know this, but I was gonna go with Kendall here. Kendall Coyne. So her strengths, obviously driving, scoring. So getting it to the net, so possession, taking it to the slot and stuff like that. She is the leader in XG. So these are the big values we add to shots, and ozone possession time. She also takes the puck again, like I said, slot and inner slot shots. She's leading that in our PWHPA numbers. And who is compared to that in the NHL are TJ Oshie or, Joel Eriksson. So she is, not necessarily comparable to the fastest players in the NHL, but I think this is a game that we don't talk about often with Kendall, and her being the leader in XGs in ozone possession time and in slot and inner slot shots tells you a lot. The girl gets to the danger zone and is like a threat every time she's on the ice. So not just a speedy girl,
That's it, right? Like it's easy to compare her speed and pick, Connor McDavid or something like that. But based on the stats, what she's generating, the chances that she's generating, some fascinating stuff there. So we thank you, Kax and Sportlogic, for continuing to give visibility. And it's actually interesting.
Maybe I'll share the post too, so it'll be easy for maybe our guys here at SDPN. We can see like quick pictures, I guess, so you can, not necessarily just listen. Yeah. Listen to the Frenchie telling all these things. Sometimes you may miss a couple words.
And so during the All-Star game, because I was at home, so I was, keeping up to date with the skills competition on Twitter, and Jared Book did a great job doing exactly this. And I'm not sure if he, was fed the same package that Sportlogic put together, but he was comparing kind of some of the times, the accuracy, not so much the skills challenge, I guess, because that would depend on the NHL version versus our version, but he was giving comparisons. And fascinating enough, somebody had commented like, why do we keep comparing this? And I read this person's comment like a couple times, and I'm like, I can't tell if they're mad because the women shouldn't be compared or if they're mad because they feel it has to be compared. And I'm just like, I don't know. The point is that the NHL has, much higher visibility, much higher player recognition, much higher, call it clout or notoriety, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. The average population knows who, Austin Matthews is, or Connor McDavid, or whoever. And the average population doesn't yet know who some of these players are. So the value added in understanding an NHL comparison is not to compare physically or whatever. It's not the game. It's to give an idea. This is the type of player that, Kendall Coyne is on the ice. So I think it's really fascinating stuff. I love it. Keep it coming.
Yeah, it's just and again, like for those that know women's hockey, it can be frustrating, and at times to see a comparable. But at the end of the day, it's also just they're that great, and we just need to compare them to the great, or see if like the stats are actually, answering some questions or showing some new sides or angles that you didn't think of. So shout out to Jared too. He always does a great job. He was an amazing guy when we were here with Lake Canadian and following our team a lot too. So I love when he does that kind of stuff. He's a good one.
Yeah, he knows the game, and
he does.
So we will get into the skills competition a little bit. I did want to shout out that both the PWHPA skills clinics were sold out this weekend, which is great. Our players are loving giving back to the community. So I'm glad that the community out near Ottawa, I'll say, was able to benefit from those. Let's start with the skills competition. Fastest skater, no surprise to us, Kendall Coyne-Schofield with a time of 13.872. Impressive score, faster than her all-star lap at the NHL skills competition a couple years ago. Accuracy shooting, Brianne Jenner, 10.627 seconds.
Yeah.
She had a good interview after saying that. Yeah, she was practicing, a little pass receive with her passers, making sure that they were on cadence, I would say, to make sure she would win that one. She crushed it. Pooh, taking
skills
home
challenge.
The skills challenge.
She made it look easy too.
Like stupid easy. Like just the silkiest
like
mitts. All
three of them made it look easy actually, like so far. But yeah, it was like smooth, easy. I would love to see her in the NHL skills challenge actually, and see how well she would do compared to the guys. It'd be fun. Sure.
She, fantastic. And she had like a really fun interview. Kind of, she was asked, did you surprise yourself? And she was like, oh, I just had fun. And the net was really tiny. And, but she made it happen. She walked away with it. And then, of course, our save streak. Now, this was kind of controversial, I heard, Kax. Were you on the inside for this?
I did not hear from many, but is it like, okay. So I would assume it might be because... players are going at different time. No worries. Hi, Rupert. We'll give him a shout out. So explain to the like auditors or the listeners here. So goalies are going back and forth, right? So Anne, let's say starts, she faces as many players as she wish. And it's any players from, I believe they had some kind of order, but it's the whole group, right? It's not just the people that were in the skills comp. It's like from the 4 teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
and they just go
correct.
on and on. Okay. So you can have top players going back and like back to back. You can have D going at any point. You can have, more of a shooter than a deker, whatever. So talk to me about the controversy.
I don't know. I heard that there was possibly a tie for save streak, but that maybe Debian was in when she had hit the tie, or maybe she had set the tie number. I don't know the details. I don't want to get involved in the investigation. It's ongoing.
Big investigation.
Regardless, we got to give a shout out to Emran Smashmeyer, who allegedly, I'm not, corroborating any allegations here.
Why don't we announce a double tie here, or both of them had the longest streak? Is that
That's
what we're
a lot of weight. I don't know
saying?
that for a fact. This is all hearsay that I get.
Maybe we're starting a rumor because we can't start rumors, and it's okay. We're on a podcast, and a rumor is both Emrant and Anne Renee may have had the longest save streak. So they're facing players.
Karell Mard may have also been faster than Marie-Philippe Poulin in the skills challenge. We don't know.
Karell Mar was not there. Let's kill this rumor right there.
Either way, the players had a great time. You could tell it all over their faces. It was nice to see on TV the full broadcast. Shout out to the broadcasters in the booth and in between periods, just giving our game a great voice. It was really fun to watch from home.
You know what? Karell Mar did kill it and kill the dance floor at Crazy Horse with a bunch of other PWHPA that were not participating in the All-Star game. So just have to say that I did win that skills.
It doesn't surprise me.
Erica Howe actually may have been like better. Oh, and she was playing, but she was drinking water, guys. Everything is safe there. She's a great dancer.
She's a great dancer, and she has a great time. Often stone sober, which I
she was
admire
our
about
driver.
her.
So she was on water the whole time. And we tried and she's like, no, thank you. And she was killing it out
Just
there.
cutting a rug.
Yeah.
I love that. It makes sense why we were such good goalie partners together now, right?
Absolutely. I see the resemblance here. The dance floor.
So
dance
of course
floor
you
owned the dance floor, didn't you?
Wow.
Usually you do.
So
you would have been there with us. Yeah.
I wish I was. I would have been right in there with you guys on Saturday night. And then of course the players in the All-Star 3-on-3 were resting up for Sunday's big competition.
They were actually, no lie. Yeah.
No, it's true. That's what
a
they
lot
do.
of games, actually, if you think about it. Like
It
back
is.
to back to back. Yeah.
So if you
Shout out
missed
to them.
it, there was 7 games, 7 10-minute games. It was really cool actually to watch from home because it basically be a 10-minute segment of 3-on-3, commercial break, come back, and it's a new 2 teams.
Yeah. They did
I
it
will
well.
say, one of the things about the All-Star, Rupert is just being so needy today.
Yeah, that's cute. It's okay.
One of the things about All-Star games, you typically see like super high scoring games, right? But these are 10-minute like mini games. So when you total up the goals, there was a lot of goals. But when you look at the individual games, 3-1, couple donuts, 1-0, 2-2, 1-2, 2-1, 1-0, 2-1. So the goalies put on a show too. I mean,
They did.
I get it. Because
They did their work.
this is kind of like a tough situation. This is why, like, honestly, I don't like playing in charity events as a goalie, because if you go and like put on a show, like stand on your head,
You don't play
put
defense.
on a clinic. What's that?
We don't play defense.
No,
So that sucks for
there's
you
no
guys.
defense. Yeah. So if I go out and like I play really well, right? I kind of look like a dink. Because it's like, this is supposed
Let
to be
us
for
score.
fun. Yeah, like we want highlight reel goals. So I'm like, yeah, true. But if as a goalie you go out and you let in like 7 goals,
Yeah, no.
you look like a bigger dink. It's like
So you're stuck at the like, in between.
Stuck.
Like you're. I get it. We kind of have that usually at the players, but I didn't feel that way watching the girls doing the 3-on-3 this past weekend. It seemed like everyone was like having fun, but it was like back and forth. I've seen some back check too. I'm like, well, okay, this is happening. Like we're in the mix here. So
it was a good opportunity to showcase, and there were some really big saves. So I wanted to shout out the goalies on that. Made some huge saves. That's also great highlights in my mind. Some nice goals, and of course 3-on-3, lots of ice, tic-tac-toe plays. Had some fun with it. Saw a little goalie change on the fly. I love that personally. At the end of the day, Team Keller coming away with the championship.
That's right.
And we have to shout out their guest coach, Vicky Sanahara, who is now the winningest coach in PWHPA All-Star Game history. Because it was our first All-Star weekend.
I love it. We have to get her on the show too and talk about her experience. But that's awesome. I also, like, to your point, we had some alumni, national players to be guest coach with some of our coaches, right? Cami Granado, Kim St. Pierre, Jaina, Vicky,
DJ Smith.
Am I missing a DJ Smith? Yeah. And then, I think Corey still coached, and Laura Mack was also a coach there. Matt was there as well too.
I believe
if I'm not mistaken. All of our coaches were there. So it's fun to also be, on the bench and having fun with some of those, Hall of Famers and great players of all time, basically. And then I heard like coaches were coaching, they were coaching to win. They weren't just kind of like having fun either.
Well, I'm sure there were some, if I know Vicky at all, I'll just speak for her. I'm sure there were some friendly wagers that were happening behind the bench.
Oh, for sure.
So it was a great time. And like you say, just really nice to see those players still involved, still happy to give back to the game and kind of meet this generation of player as well, because although they know each other a lot through these national team camps and various, organizations, whether it's universities or NHL associations, whatever it may be, it's always nice to get back in the rink.
Yeah.
And
you put some faces to
have
the
some
names and
fun.
personalities, some convos that are happening. It's good. It's facilitating the whole connection, and making sure that everyone's involved in this as well too. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Love to see
It's a
it.
good way to give back. Yeah.
And speaking of those legends, we saw last night was game 4 of the rivalry series between Canada and USA. Of course, the PWHPA very well represented on those two teams. I would say, I don't know, 75 to 80% of those rosters, if not more. I'd say
90
maybe
probably.
more.
Well, there's the university as well too. That were
Correct.
there. So lots of younger players were involved in this game and in these two games actually that we'll see. So last night was Vegas and they're going to LA for the next game. And all of the university kids are in this one where we didn't see them in the previous one, just being with their own teams and stuff in NCAA. And so we had on both sides, I believe, like 2 to 3 new players, or 4 maybe, that we hadn't seen. So it was fun to watch for sure. Late game, but very fun to watch.
Yeah, too late for me. Watched a little. I was on shift, of course, too. So I watched a little bit of it. USA leads the series now 3-1 with Canada's victory last night. So they took the game in Las Vegas 3-2. First game they've won of this rivalry series. Maybe this is going to start the comeback.
Who knows?
We will see. Time will tell.
I will say before we get into the details of the game, Sue, Vegas did a really good job, and I think that any NHL teams that has been hosting the rivalries so far too has done an amazing job with visibility and promoting the game. And again, in Vegas, not necessarily a hub where there's tons of maybe people didn't take the trip because it's Vegas too, and who knows, but the rink was packed again too, right? So, we had the young, girl hockey association that were there too for the Vegas Knights, Golden Knights. And I just love to see the rinks being packed like that. And I love to see these signs that, I dream to become you one day and all that jazz. And it just makes you, think that there's going to be women's hockey and it keeps growing and playing in those areas, like a Vegas, like a Seattle, couple weeks ago and stuff. It makes you grow the game in itself. So shout out to the association there. I think they did an amazing job and I'm looking forward to see what LA does as well too.
And the proof is in the pudding, right? Like what you're saying is if you put time and effort, support, marketing into making sure people know that this game is coming, people show up. They're excited to see it.
This is exactly what I would tell people that, but women's hockey doesn't sell tickets and women's hockey doesn't sell jersey and they don't sell anything. Put them out there. You'll know. Bring them to the rink. You'll know. You know what? I just watched a special on TSN on the WNBA, but it was about the 1998 or 6 basketball women's USA basketball team. I think it's 96. I might be mistaken, but it was all about visibility, publicity. They played so many games all over the US, basically doing a little bit of I'm not comparing what we're doing, but showcases everywhere with the university. But they just brought jerseys. They brought things. They brought, you're going to sign autograph. You're going to be on paper. You're going to be on, top of a magazine or whatever. And then women's basketball became a thing. And they found out that they could sell tickets. So again, this is the proof. We are filling some NHL games. And yes, it's Team Canada and Team USA, but those players play every weekend elsewhere. And they play together too. So they have some really cool connection. When it's maybe, Kendall Coyne playing with a Jill Sonny and a Sarah Nurse that you see playing against each other. Come and watch them. But let's promote us. Let's promote these games, and then we'll see these rinks fill up. So anyways, proof right there.
Proof's in the pudding.
Invest. Exactly.
Invest. So in the game yesterday, we had kind of in order, Amanda Kessel opened the scoring, which is great because I don't mean this to be insulting, but she's been a little quiet. I feel like she's been working with the Pittsburgh Penguins, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. In their front office. So obviously a very busy, she's got a full-time career happening.
Yeah.
And she's
when she can
in and out of rosters. Unfortunately, she couldn't play for us in Pittsburgh on our Secret Dream Gap tour due to illness. But yeah, she didn't skip a beat. Came back in, opened scoring.
this is the kind of like professionalism too that we see with our players, right? She hasn't really touched the ice in terms of games, but probably make sure that she gets on the ice with people or does skills here and there. But yeah, yesterday was a, flat out 2-on-1. So Kendall just took the puck and went skating. And all Kessel was saying is when you see her with the puck, you just got to go and straight to the net and she'll find a way to get it on my blade. And that's what happened. Thompson played the 2-on-1 really well, but it went through her legs. And then Kessel was just waiting as a righty, just, putting it in there too. So, no, it was a great play. You're right. She was quiet. We saw a lot of actual people that hadn't really scored yet in the series scoring yesterday. So it was a fun game to watch in that sense too.
So that goal fed, as you said, from Kendall Coyne-Schofield. Then Rattray in the second period. So first period, 1-0 USA. Second period was all Canada. Rattray scoring on the BUA going 5-hole, which you love to see. I was saying today, Jamie Lee Rattray is a 13th forward that scores goals for your team.
Let's call her utility player. And let's call her
coach's dream.
That's what you need when you need her. And at the end of the game, they put her with Pooh and Jenner too, right? So she is asked to do things once in a while and she shows up. So again, that goal was mishandled by Keller, which never really happens at the blue line either. And then boom, Jamie Lee just jumped in there and then used her speed. She honestly, the distance that she created or the space she created between her and Keller was it was sad to see almost, but she was gone and coming. And I think Rooney knew she was going to go 5-0. And sure enough, it's still it went in, trickled right through. And again, the eyes of Rooney kind of going shoot, I should have had this one, but she was coming with so much speed and I'm sure it's super hard to play as a goalie, So
the speed
shout out to
to
Jamie Lee on this. Yeah.
And I will say Ratty has been somebody that has really added a lot of tools to her toolbox, I think. Yeah. And we've seen her on a few breakaways this season in the PWHPA and she's done everything from, backhand, high glove,
changing it up,
that little tuck 5-hole to now shooting on the rush. So it's good to see her player development. She's obviously a good friend of the show, and it was nice to see her pot one last night to open the scoring for Canada. We're in a 1-1 hockey game, and then Turnbull's goal from Bourbonnais. Why don't you talk us through that?
Right at the end of the second, to a fiery line, I'd say. Clarkey, Turnbull, and Laura Stacey, they were buzzing. They had been buzzing for the entire period, pretty much. And I love to see Bourbonnais finding Turnbull on the back. So what happened is a quick kind of D-to-D, or Bourbonnais got it at the blue line and she waited. Actually, that's right. Thompson faked the shot, whatever, slid it across to Bourbonnais. And Bourbonnais was on the side and just waited for Blair to come around the net. And Blair's a righty. And it was just shot past directly, and the skill to redirect it over the goalie's shoulder when your stick is open like that. It was just a beautiful goal. And shout out, this is the vision that you get from Jamie as well too. She sees the game so well, and I was really happy for her to get, on the scoring board there, or scoring sheet. And then again, Turnbull right before the end of the second. That just gives your team, that little edge, to go back in belief and then come back for the third with, some energy. So that was a nice goal too.
Like you say, momentum into the third, but it's not over yet. Hillary Knight doing what Hillary Knight does, scoring big goals for Team USA.
Yeah, that was another breakaway too, but the breakaway that was set. So nice flip from Harvey, actually. Defense, a young one from the US. So I don't even know where she came from, either the bench or something. And it was a perfect flip that landed in the feet of the Canadian defenseman pretty much, and then scribbled through or whatever, and then Neidert got it, and she's coming full speed and didn't even touch the puck, basically waited, and then her release is sick, so it went underneath the glove against Campbell, and it just I was oh no, this is this is night on a breakaway or night against a goalie. It's a goal. So and she has been quiet as well too in the rivalry series. So that was I don't know if Turnbull scored before, but I think Kessel, Knight, and Rattray, that was their second in the No, I don't even know if she scored 2 in the rivalry. It's been
I'd have to go back
4
and
games.
look.
So
yeah, the thing with the 4 games over like a few months is like, I got the
and you don't know if it was from Worlds or not, so you mix matched it too. But I do know it was Knight's first one, and then same thing with Kessel. And I just think again we saw I got 2-2 getting in late in the third.
Classic Canada USA hockey game.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's going to OT, and then I spoke about this, but I do think Team Canada practices to shoot from all angle and to shoot at the feet of the goalies and to try something sometimes and, below the goal line or at the goal line. And we saw, the last goal, it's Nurse going into a forecheck scenario and then bump play that happens. The D fumbles it and then she gets it and she's in the corner, literally, maybe this far from the goal line and shoots it at the net and it hits Rooney's left foot. So she's in the right corner, left foot, and goes in. So, you there's no bad decision when you put it on net like that, and then you hope for the best. It could have been a rebound right in the, danger zone there, inner slot area, and no, it went in. So that gave us the
coaches say it all the time. Good things happen when you put the puck to the net. So
yeah, exactly. So that one was good. And I'm not going to lie. I kind of wanted not to stay up later than I was, but I wanted an OT scenario. So I was like, oh, maybe they were buzzing in our zone a little, but, we saw some huge block shots from Pooh, from, other players, huge, picking up the stick in the end there because they were, I guess, 5-on-4 for a bit because there's a penalty 4-on-4. Pulled the goalie. USA was 5-on-4 there and then 6-on-5 and they were buzzing there. So kept the lead and then they won. Good game. Yeah. Very good game.
Good to see Canada get into the mix. I'm sure that Team USA will keep that fresh in their mind come Monday.
That's right.
They are playing at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. So that'll be a great game. And
what a trip to go to.
Yeah, I would love to go to LA.
Seriously. Well, you might.
Maybe.
Who knows?
One day I will. Speaking of traveling.
Traveling real far with this one, eh?
So far for me. Like it's going to be a bit of a trip, but very
minutes?
exciting news that Women's Worlds, April 5th to 16th, coming to the CAA Center in Brampton, which is like 15 minutes from my house. So I'm excited to be there. Maybe we can plan something special if I can get my act together before April. I think it would be fun to do some Knoxy and Kax on the road, maybe.
Why not? Why not? That could be a good show. And again, you can get on the priority list right now for your tickets. So go on Hockey Canada. You can find that. And then the tickets will be on sale shortly after that. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's on the Canadian soil. And it was supposed to be in Halifax a couple years ago. And we're back in Canada now. Nothing against the East Coast or anything like that, but it'd be nice to fill up those rinks and make sure that the Canadian team is having our support here. And then same thing, come watch some great hockey because the teams are all getting better. Yeah, I see lots and lots of them playing, in various different leagues here or NCAA or CIS. So I'm excited to see everyone performing.
Exciting and, might I say, opportunistic to have literally the best players in all the world from their countries here in Ontario.
Let's go.
It's going to be great. Okay. I added this section because I thought we're talking so much about hockey, which is good. That's kind of the point of the podcast. Yeah. But I thought maybe our listeners might like to get to know my friend Kax a little bit. So I made a section called Ask Kax, which I'm realizing
sounds so bad. One and two sounds so bad. 1 and 2. I wasn't aware of this section. And 3, there will be a Ask Knox section at some point for sure. So we'll get to know Knoxy as well too.
Yeah,
Knoxy.
Okay, Ask Kax. This is going to be rapid fire.
Oh God. Okay.
Well, as rapid fire.
I'm not looking at the list.
No, you can't
I'm not looking. I'm not. Okay, go for it.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset on the water.
Oh, okay.
Added.
Wow.
Yeah.
Take me to dinner. What time of day are you most productive?
I'd say morning. Yeah.
Nice.
If
Morning
I get
girl.
up. Yeah, morning girl. Morning, yeah.
Who is the most underrated PWHPA player?
Oh, that is tough. Okay. Actually, most underrated, that is really hard. I'm trying to not use a national player. I'd say like Jessie Eldridge would have been a good pick for a long time, but I think we all know how good she is now. You know what? Like the George, she's my center on my line, and okay. I got two. The George, who's on Team USA, was like really good too, and they're both national players, so it doesn't matter. But Skirmura, is unbelievable, and I think it's because I play with them, and I would say Savannah Harmon too. God, I'm so bad.
Lots of US. It's kind of fun though, because now you're getting to see these players from a different angle. Like we're always used to Canada versus USA, and like you just watch the game differently.
Mm-hmm. Savannah Harmon is a quarterback for USA now, and I see it, and she's huge on our team too. You know, you got the Lee Steckline who's like stay at home safety and everything, but Sav is like huge too. So watch her next game.
3 answers. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite rink to play in growing up?
Growing up. I'd say probably where my little hometown, Marieville.
So nice.
You know, going back there and everything is fun. Now my little nephews skate there and play hockey at that rink. So it's really cute. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love
that. You see the banners that you won tournament and their little names on it. It's cute. It's
so
fun.
Cute.
Yeah.
Whose full-time job would you not want?
God. Whose full-time job? You know what? I was going to say Mel Droscher, but I think she has a sweet life too. But I don't know exactly what she does, but she sells some kind of medicine.
Just not her job.
Yeah, I'd like her life. I'd like what the job brings to her life. She sells some medical stuff to hospitals and things like that. So she's been busy and always has appointment and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say job wise, probably hers. And you know what? I found out about Grusho's life and job, and she's a sparkling water tester. And I'm like, what? But she has a master's in like,
she's like a chemist.
Yeah. Basically. So I'm like, wait, what? So she explained to us what she does on the daily and like the amount of like, is it bubbly enough or not? Is the taste is too fake or real? They use real juice and stuff. Anyways, we're going to try them out in the US, but I would like to do that job.
I was just going to, so my next question was, whose job would you want? But I think that's our answer.
I think I'd like to do that. Yeah. Testing sparkling water. Yeah.
I hope we can have her on. She's really cool.
Should invite her. She'll love it.
Really cool player. Good story. Okay. Yeah. Favorite subject in school?
God. Phys ed? No, let's be.
Classic recess.
No, I actually really enjoyed psychology. I was a psych major, and I really like how people brain works and what triggers or like gets them going. Yeah, I like that.
Nice. Good segue. What's something you don't like?
I took this stupid class. It was not geology. Was it geology?
Geology is rocks, I think, right?
Yes. So I don't rock the rocks. I freaking hate this thing.
Not rocking the rocks.
Oh my God. I tried so hard. And I'm pretty sure the professor actually said, I'm going to pass her. She's coming to every single, like, teach help and stuff.
So she
and I was
doesn't
just
come back.
Yeah, basically. I just need it. I thought it was going to be easy. It was not. The labs. Anyways. Yeah. Didn't rock the rocks. I don't like it.
But
not a big fan.
Speaking of rock'em sock'em, if fighting was allowed in the PWHPA, who would you like to see drop the mitts?
My God. You know what? I think The Rock would be something that it would be an interesting. I feel like there's a few people that
like Rock and Abby Rock would be.
I had the two in mind. I feel like there's some people that, you know, look mean but are super soft, not soft but sweet, so they wouldn't be able to fight. I think Joss and Abby would be. Yeah, let's do it.
I like it.
Hit each other for a bit and then come back.
At the PWHPA.
No, we don't. We don't. I'd probably fight too. Let's be honest.
How do you start your day?
I let my beautiful dog out, Winston. He wakes me up usually, so I go downstairs with him, whatever, let him out and make coffee right away. I need my coffee and watch him just being outside for a hot sec. I don't even go for a walk. I don't do that in the
Walk
morning.
yourself,
I take him
Winnie.
on the afternoon walk sometimes when I can, in between meetings,
Last two.
But coffee.
Who is the most book smart PWHPA player that you've played with or that you know of?
So that's a tough one. I was going to say Claire Thompson because the fact that she
She's a
is
doctor.
doing med school and going there. I will say Mel Jerosher. The girl is a neuroscience, has a neuroscience degree and master's, studied little worms here at McGill and found some kind of, she explains it to me every time. And she's so passionate about these teeny tiny worms that had 3 cells or whatever. And she had to do something to them to basically kind of cure cancer or something like that. Crazy. And she makes me want to listen to her. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're too smart for my own sake. But I think her, playing with her at St. Lawrence and playing here in the PW and her story, and she's the most balanced human in terms of lifestyle and work and brain. She is a party brain. You know what I mean? She can do both.
She can do both.
She hits.
Us talking about science like sparked an idea for me. We should get somebody smarter than us, which is pretty much everyone. And they should give us science terms and we should guess what they mean.
Oh, that's good. And
Let's
we should have
do
a
that.
French way. Do you know what on va faire un toast means?
I'm sorry. One more time.
Fait un toast.
Like,
What's your guess?
have a toast?
Like toast, like eating?
Yeah.
You're wrong. So these things, like it's basically like having a cheer, like having a moment
like have a
where
toast.
on fait un
Chin
toast.
chin.
Chin chin. There you go. So like, I think it'd be fun to do these type of one-liners too, and hear what. Actually, I was asked by the PW to do this in the mini mic, so let's keep that on the DL.
And
but
did you
I
guys
will.
record?
No, I haven't recorded yet, but I have a bunch of liners, so I would.
Maybe we'll just steal Maria Tassonai's idea and claim it as our own.
Why not? I'm just kidding.
Okay, last question. Who is the most street smart PWHPA player?
Street smart, eh?
Like, who could survive?
Survive, like, okay, give me like in the day to day or like in the wild, like tomorrow type of thing.
No, like, let's say your bus or train, plane gets canceled and it's you and one other player stuck in a city that you don't know. Who is the person that you're hoping you're there with?
Mel, but wait, I'm gonna take it back one sec. Not Jill Saunier.
I can tell you who it's not.
No, she's gonna trust the guy in the black van and no windows type of girl.
Come pet these puppies.
Yeah. Like that's tough though. I think sadly, Mel is book smart and street smart, and she knows so much about the little things. She goes traveling all the time too, so it's like I feel like she'll tell me to eat something and it will be perfect, and I'll be hydrated my whole time, even if I don't have food.
It's time to. What I'm hearing is that it's time to have Mel back on the show.
I think so. As we all know, she went and biked across Canada. I'm a big fan of her. Pitched her tent everywhere. Didn't have food. Not aware. Not scared of bears at all. So yeah, she'd be my one human.
She does it all.
I mean, maybe you too. I honestly, I can build anything. I can do a lot of things. I can. Yeah,
we would be
I
fine
can
together.
build things.
We're
I
street
think so.
smart.
I think so. I think so, Knoxy. I think that's why it's fun. That's why we're fun. Here,
Please weigh in.
you
kindly.
and I, maybe Rich too. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think?
Rich is a good planner. She
planner.
can
I'm
plan things. I am not a planner.
I go with the flow.
Weigh in and let us know kindly. And please don't tell us to get back behind the stove because the gas line is
No.
fixed now and we don't want to go back there. It's full of lots
It's been
of old
fixed
food.
forever, people.
It's been fixed forever. Well, that's all for today's show.
I like that. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Of course, you can get all the information we talked about for our Secret Dream Gap Tour stops at pwhpa.com or follow us on Twitter. And I have to say this, our Facebook page is up And I'm not trying to say it's thanks to the Knoxy Kax show, but I had somebody reach out to me because I had mentioned it on a show that our Facebook page was down, and she worked magic and got it back up. So
thank you.
Thank you guys for listening. I don't have her consent to give her name over the internet yet, so I'm not going to say.
All good. We thank you. We thank you for that.
We thank you guys. We thank you all for listening, and we'll be back next week for, I believe, our last episode before the holiday break.
Absolutely. Last one before Christmas. And don't forget, Game 5, Monday, December 19 at 7 p.m. TSN, turn in, watch. Do it.
Check it out.
And I'm guessing it's on NHL or ESPN in the US as well too. So make sure you're turning on your TVs. Even if you're not there, turn it on. Give us some visibility, give us some views, and I think it's going to be perfect, but you'll enjoy it if you can do it. So sit down and watch.
Until next time. All for us.
Yes.
Have a great weekend.
The Knoxy and Kax Show on SDPN, produced in partnership with the PWHPA and presented by Sports Interaction.
Want to bet?
Follow Knoxy and Kax on Twitter at 27Knoxy and at Karell Emard. The views expressed are those of the individuals and are not necessarily those of the PWHPA. Check out sdpn.ca for more Knoxy and Kax and the rest of the SDPN crew.
She scores!